We have another fantastic presentation from the team at Sainsbury's. I've had a look through the deck and I have to say it's absolute nectar. Please welcome the wonderful Sainsbury's team to the stage.
Hi everyone. So I'm Emma and I'm the email marketing manager across Sainsbury's and To Clothing.
And I'm Jess and I look after our email marketing teams for Argos and Habitat.
And today we're going to be talking to you about our first year of working with Movable, on how we started off small to showcase some really strong results across the business to build scale. But first, who are we? Now, hopefully most of you will have heard of Sainsbury's. We're a large UK retailer selling groceries across our supermarkets, convenience stores and online. But within the group, we also sell clothing across To Clothing and our third-party brands, as well as general merchandise and homewares across Argos and Habitat. Now, for any large organisation out there, you will know just how difficult it is to implement a new technology partner within the marketplace. For Sainsbury's especially, it can be rather challenging. So today we'll be sharing 3 key lessons that we learned from working with Movable. So lesson 1, like many other email marketers out there, we were seeing a decline in click-through rates and engagement across our email programs, and we needed to change this. So we'll be talking to you today about the approach we took to build a business case and get stakeholder buy-in to bring Movable within our marketing tech stack. This includes the many ins and outs, ups and downs that come with integrating our tech and our data, which is still a bit of a challenge, but also how we were able to change our approach to roll this out at pace. Then we'll be talking to you about how we started small to roll Movable out. So we actually had real challenges integrating our data within Movable. So all the fantastic stories you've heard today of personalised content was actually something we weren't able to start with, but we didn't want that to stop or slow our progress. So today we'll be sharing some examples of how we started off small to showcase the benefit of what Movable has to offer. And lesson 3, we'll be sharing details about how we showcase those results across the business to build scale across Movable. Bringing stakeholders on board was probably one of the most important parts of our journey with Movable. So we'll be sharing some of the examples that we were able to deliver once we were able to roll out capabilities across more brands, but also once we were finally able to integrate data within Movable. So lesson 1, start by defining the challenge. Despite having a huge amount of data within our business, due to legacy systems and siloed processes, it was a real challenge to actually have visibility of our data. That, alongside competing priorities and multiple categories, it made integrating personalised content in real time into our email programme a real challenge. This drove a decline in our click-through rate engagement across our email programmes. Now, due to the growth ambitions of digital, we knew we needed to change this, and that's where Movable comes in. Identifying the problem is one thing, socialising it and getting support for a solution is another. And this was probably the biggest challenge for us. So how did we approach it? Well, step 1, we actually wanted to showcase what others were doing in this space, because decline in engagement was a pretty consistent story across the industry. And we were really inspired by Think Summit a couple of years ago, where we heard some fantastic examples of brands showing really relatable challenges and the examples that they used to improve them. With these examples, alongside some recommendations of Movable, we were able to build a business case to our senior stakeholders to really showcase what impact Movable can have to offer, even if we were to start integrating some of the more basic capabilities across Movable. And then finally, what's probably most important, as I mentioned, is how we made sure we kept socialising those tests with teams and senior stakeholders so that we weren't only showcasing the small pilot and some of the out-of-the-box capabilities, but actually we could really generate excitement of the capabilities and generate excitement of the capabilities, and showcase the value that Movable Link has to offer. So what did we learn from lesson 1? It's really vital to identify the challenges in a way that the business can really resonate to. By showcasing what others have done over these challenges, along with clear examples of how they've shown uplift in their programs, was vital. Once this was clear and communicated with stakeholders, it was much easier for us to propose a solution.
Great. So our second lesson is all around how we started small to prove value. So as Emma mentioned, we started with our Sainsbury's brand. And something that we very quickly realised was that a big barrier for us was going to be our dream list of data points to enable us to truly personalise and ultimately make our comms real time. But rather than wait for our perfect conditions to arise, what we decided to do was embark on leaning into the wide range of out-of-the-box capabilities that Movable Link have. Things like scratch to reveals, weather widgets, countdown timers, things that really would allow us to hopefully show some quick wins as a brand. What that enabled us to do was show that, 1, we could be quite agile as a big business, and 2, show some very quick value. So each test that we conducted throughout our pilot was a 50-50 split test. And the reason that we did that was so that we could really clearly show the uplifts between our standard content, but also the uplifts versus the Movable Link content. And doing that was great for us as an email team to see what benefit we had, but actually it was a really crucial part of building our business case back to our senior stakeholders. So we're going to walk through 3 key examples of which, knowing we were on a pilot, we were very strategic about what we picked to make sure that we looked at campaigns that might have seen challenging performance, were new, or just exciting that we wanted to test some capabilities in. So our first ever Movable Link test was in aid of a 10p Freddo promotion that we had live. There was a ton of excitement, as you can imagine. I feel like everyone kicks off about the fact that Freddos haven't been 10p in years and years and years. So it felt like a perfect opportunity to lean into that and test something that was a scratch to reveal on that promotion. It was also the first ever Super Nectar stunt that Sainsbury's had ran, so it felt like everything kind of aligned to set us up for success. And as you can see, knowing that click-through rate was a big challenge for us as a business, we saw a 724% uplift in click-through rate from that first test, which was fantastic and enabled us to show very quickly back to the business that there was really clear value in doing this. Did also set a very high benchmark for other tests that we did, but was a fantastic way to start our testing with Movable Link. So something else that we leaned into, and this example in particular is a back to routine campaign. This campaign is all around kind of a September reset. Kids are going back to school, the colder months are drawing in, and it's very much an inspirational-led email. And whilst things like recipes and some inspirational content does work well for Sainsbury's, this particular campaign did historically see some challenging click-through rate. So again, it felt like a really good opportunity to lean into some of the capabilities that Movable Link had. So what we utilised in this particular test was time targeting of recipes. So depending on when a customer opened their email, they would either see breakfast, lunch or dinner. And again, not quite as staggering as a 700% uplift in click-through rate, but a 28% uplift in click-through rate, 49% in visits and 23% in revenue was fantastic. And then last but not least, in our top 3 call-outs is around the Christmas ad. So as most people in this room will know, Christmas ad launch is a key moment in every marketing calendar. There's tons of excitement, not just as a business, but from a customer point of view, looking out for what big brands are going to do this year, what's going to be in their ad. And we felt like it was a really nice chance for us to see if something like this would work. We had historically tried to do some activity around sneak peeking the Christmas ad, but our functionalities were fairly limited to send something that felt like it was really engaging and interactive with customers. So what we wanted to do was send a sneak peek to our most loyal customers to drive that excitement before the ad main launch. And within this campaign, we utilised 2 different Movable Link components. We used a countdown timer to the launch of the ad, but we also used a pill to reveal mechanic, which would show our key hero products that we knew customers were going to love that were going to be in the ad for this Christmas. And again, 114% uplift in click-through rate was absolutely huge. So what did we learn from those kind of small scalable tests was that doing those small experiments really helped us to build a foundation of credibility, momentum, but internal appetite for more advanced testing. Lesson 3. So once we'd kind of laid those foundations within the pilot, we really wanted to start looking ahead to what does the future look like with Movable Inc. And this was all around what do we need to do to scale this out across our business. And that's not just how do we roll that out across Sainsbury's, that's the wider brands within our group too, so Argos 2 and Habitat. So what we look to do, sorry, I've lost my bearings of where I am. There we go. So that came with its challenges in we'd managed to embark on a year-long pilot where we had got buy-in from senior stakeholders across Sainsbury's. We now had that task to do across a whole new group of senior leaders in playing back the success of the pilot. This on top of also trying to engage the right teams, so teams like CRM, design teams, data selections teams, to make sure that we were all on the same page and everyone felt fully engaged in what our plan was. So pulling together that initial business case based on the results was easier than expected, where we saw fantastic results from our pilot. So the Sainsbury's team ran 30 tests within our initial pilot phase, and we saw a 54% uplift in click-through rate throughout that period, which, knowing that that was our main challenge, was a really fantastic success story to play back to the business and a really easy message to communicate and show why we wanted to roll this out further. But what was also crucial to do was to have a really clear roadmap of opportunities and challenges that Movable Inc could help solutionise across the other brands. Each brand has its different priorities and challenges, and it was really important that we worked closely with Movable Inc to come up with unique use cases that showed why it was so crucial that we rolled this out. Once we've been able to lay that foundation, and thankfully our business case was approved, we were able to focus on getting data integration approvals and also contractual rollouts across our remaining brands. So our first step towards data-led content was really around getting integration of merge tags within our content. So this actually took a year of back and forth, and this was purely because of our internal processes. There is a ton of different approvals, clinics, and different processes that really kind of hindered our progress that we wanted to make in this space. So it was a little bit of resilience needed, but it was 100% worth it. We have a ton of data that we hold within Salesforce Marketing Cloud, which makes merge tags really valuable, particularly for the Sainsbury's brand. So we hold data like first name, unique voucher codes, dietary preferences that a customer has, and many more. So to be able to unlock this was a really big step forward in showcasing a simpler version of what data could do for us. And in this example on the screen, this was a CRM campaign where we were offering free delivery on the customer's next online grocery shop of £50 or more. And again, a 38% uplift in click-through rate, 37% in visits, and 36% in revenue. So another example for us was within our Healthy Choice Challenge campaign. So this was a brand new campaign for Sainsbury's. If you'd have seen Sainsbury's emails, you see we do a lot of data playback. There's a lot of nectar bonus points messaging. So we had a bit of an understanding about how these types of campaign performed, but we hadn't done anything like this before. So we really wanted to lean into Movable Inc to bring this campaign to life. It was a series of emails which historically can be quite challenging for us to land and consistently see strong performance without over-communicating to customers. So we leaned into Movable Inc in its initial stages to launch the campaign with merge tags within our images within the email. But then the bulk of our comms consisted of the progress bars that you can see on the screen. So customers had tasks to complete, whether it was buying a certain portion of fruit or veg, and then they would ladder up to completing their task and getting nectar bonus points as a result. So we leaned into this to really keep momentum going, whether someone was quite far away from completing, to give them a nudge, or to really drive that last couple of task completions. And then at the end of the campaign, we leaned back into that time targeting element I talked about earlier with recipes. We knew that calling out healthy recipes felt like a no-brainer in this kind of content, so we leaned back into the breakfast, lunch, dinner time targeting logic within this campaign too. And in this particular example, I think it's probably one of the only campaigns we didn't do an A/B test on. And the reason we didn't do that was because of how well these types of campaigns have historically performed in terms of data playback, we didn't think that we really needed to do a test because we knew that customers were going to find that really engaging. What we did see was versus a benchmark of a similar campaign, and it was a 982% uplift in click-through rate, which is absolutely huge. So moving away from just Sainsbury's, we're very early on still in our whole journey with Movable Ink, but particularly within the other brands. So we're just kind of scratching the surface with the out-of-the-box capabilities we've got across Argos 2 and Habitat. But we've been able to really test some really exciting functionalities already. So we've been able to test things like countdown timers when we've got events starting or ending. We've used weather widgets for things particularly like bank holiday, where you know that if the weather's not going to be great, we've got a ton of stuff at Argos we can push to you, or if the weather's going to be fantastic, here's some garden offers and promotions. But also sneak peeks work very well for us when we've got a big campaign coming. And we've also been able to lean into our more inspirational brands, so for 2 and Habitat, where we've been able to use similar mechanics with scratch-offs, but to launch things like big promotions, as you can see for Habitat on the right-hand side, but also for a unique voucher code for 2 on the left. So what did we learn from this lesson? And it's that scaling isn't just about the tool itself, it's how we build the right conditions around it. How do we engage our leaders in the best way, but also keep teams in the loop, up to date and bought in, and having a really clear shared roadmap is key to success.
So what's next for us? As you've heard throughout the presentation, we're only at the start of our journey with Movable Ink. We're using out-of-the-box capabilities across all of our brands and have seen some amazing uplifts that we've been able to share with you today. But we are really only at the start of our journey. So we want to continue testing across Sainsbury's, Argos, Habitat and 2. We're also building another business case to hopefully roll out across our next coalition sends. So we work with the likes of eBay, Esso, Amex, BA to drive into that Nectar loyalty scheme. And we think Movable Ink capabilities is just perfect for Nectar. So watch this space. But I think secondly, and our most important priority at the moment, is how we can better integrate more of our data into Movable Ink. The early stages of working with Movable Ink was painful, but not from Movable Ink side of things, because us with Sainsbury's, as Jess mentioned, we have very painful internal processes. So even getting the basic personalised data of first name integrated into Movable Ink was a real challenge. Next step for us is looking at how we can integrate more personalised behavioural data, like pixel data, how we can understand customer data. So if a customer favourite is on offer, we can actually display the offered price in real time at time of open. That for us, I think we've seen some amazing uplifts so far, but that would just really take our email programme to the next level. So we're bringing senior stakeholders on board to really showcase why just letting go of even a little bit more data could really take our email programme that next step. And finally, you've heard a lot about Da Vinci today, and everyone wants to use AI, and trying to integrate it into marketing is a lot more challenging than it seems. But for us, we're really wanting to lean into AI and how that can not only help us from an improved personalisation and commercial perspective, but how we can also look at efficiencies. Like many others within email marketing and within marketing in general, resource is probably one of our biggest challenges, and it's really prevented us from taking our email programme to that next level. And from what you've heard today, and from what we've heard from the conversations we've had with Movable Ink and the Da Vinci team, there is a huge opportunity for us if we can unlock some of those Da Vinci capabilities. So we've had a fantastic start to our first year, and a huge thank you to all the team who have worked on it from an email creative perspective, and we're super excited of what's to come with Movable Ink. So watch this space.
Thank you.